heard, the audio you just heard was that of the Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oborevori, His Excellency Governor Sheriff Oborevori, who made some comments, who made the remarks there that that governors earns 503,000 naira on a monthly basis, while the permanent secretary, I think in his own state, as that of the permanent secretary, he's talking about his state earns, yes, he says the permanent secretary earns 900 million. Sorry, yes, 900,000 naira. I said million. 900,000 naira. Permanent secretaries earn 900,000 naira in Delta State, while the governors across the country earns 503,000 naira. All right, but what he said, is it true? Is it true that governors in the country earns 503,000 naira on a monthly basis? Is that true? Is that true? Is that true? Whether it is true or not, that is what I'm about to say. I'm about to disclose some figures to you, and it do not be left for you either to agree with what the governor said or not. But at the end of the program, I'm sure I'll be able to give you some informed information, so that you know how much our governors in the country actually earns on a monthly basis. All right, now, according to, these are established facts. So everything I'll be telling you this morning, the fact I'll be reading out this morning, the figures, financial figures, fact I'll be reading out this morning are established fact. Okay, are established fact, which are subject to verification, but these are things that are, the records are there anywhere you find it. These official figures are set nationwide across 36 states by the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC. While some governors have publicly disclosed taking home roughly 503,000 naira to 500,000 naira after statutory level deductions, the official breakdown of their compensation is detailed below. Now, breakdown of official earnings, which is the basic salaries of governors: 2,222,705 naira, which breaks down to 185,000 naira per month. Total annual package, so governors go home every year 7.7 million, an average salary of 648,581 naira once regular allowances are factored. Now, the monthly salary represents only a small portion. You hear what I said? The monthly salary represents only a small portion of a governor's total state-sponsored package. The 503,000 naira that the Delta State governor claimed that is what he earns is just a small portion of a governor's total state-sponsored package. Governors also receive substantial benefits funded directly by their respective state governments. Let me take that again. Governors also receive substantial benefits sponsored directly by their respective state governments. So governors are entitled to vehicle loan, to a car loan worth 400% of their annual basic salary, about 8.8 million. Severance gratuity, a lump sum payout of 6.6 million upon completing their 4-year tenure. So governors, after they've served the state, after they've been governors for 4 years, this is not about 8 years now, after they've been governors for 4 years, they are entitled to gratuity severance gratuity of 6.671115 million. That's 6,671,115 naira. This is just 4 years of your administration. 4 years. Now, how many workers in the country, how many civil servants in Delta states, after they've worked for 4 years, and at the end of the 4 years, their severance gratuity will total 6.6 million. Take note. Another thing again that governors go with: fully funded perks, which is accommodation, furniture, comprehensive medical expenses, international travel allowances, they call it ESTA codes, and duty tour allowances are provided on request. How many permanent secretaries are entitled to this? How many civil servants in Delta State or across the 36 states of the Federation are entitled to fully funded accommodation? This is free. Furniture. So, for example, if the governor says that he doesn't like the accommodation and he says he wants another one, he will gladly receive it without stress. If the governor feels that the furniture in his residence, they are old, and he says, I want to change my furniture, and these things are funded by the state, without stress, the furniture will be replaced. Comprehensive medical expenses. How many civil servants in Delta State have health insurance, have medical insurance? If I'm sick, if I'm a civil servant in Delta State and I go to the hospital, is it free? But here, if a governor falls sick, comprehensive medical expenses. If the governor falls sick and the bill might be 500,000 naira, the bill is not coming from the governor's pockets. The bill is coming from the pockets, the coffers of the states, fully paid by the states. International travel allowance, either on official duty or not, it is funded by the states. Duty tour allowance are provided on request. Now, these ESTA codes, they are being funded by the state. They are not coming from the governor's 503,000 naira. Now, to the bulk of it, when he says that he collects 503,000 naira as salary every month, and the people there, they were laughing. Governors manage monthly security votes. These are separate, unaudited state funds allocated for regional security that vary heavily by states and are not part of their personal salary. Hey God. Let me take that again. Security votes governors manage monthly security vote. Now, these votes, this security vote, these monies are separate. They say unaudited. Whether you spend it or you don't spend it, it is yours. It is theirs. It is not. It is this security vote is for the governors. It is unaudited. The governors can do anything with it without being questioned. That is what it means. And allocated for regional security that vary heavily by states and are not part of their personal salary. It's not part of their personal salary, but it is money given to them. It is not accounted for. Now, the amount allocated for security vote for governors in Nigeria ranges from 200 million to over 32 billion annually per state. Let me take that again. The amounts allocated for security vote for governors in Nigeria ranges from 200 million to over 32 billion annually per state, with monthly disbursements varying widely between 17 million and 3 billion. See this, so hear this, with monthly disbursement, that is per month, governors can receive up to 17 million or 3 billion. This 17 million that they receive is unaccounted, unaudited. They don't ask them, what did you do? They don't ask them, where is it? What did you spend it on? So a governor, if he's on a bad mood, if he receives the security vote of 17 million or 3 billion, he can decide not to do anything with that. He can decide not to do anything with that security votes for that month. He can decide not to do anything with the security vote for the next 3 months. And here is the governor saying that he earns 503,000 naira every month. Because, listen to this, security votes are not structurally defined or fixed by the 1999 Constitution. There is no uniform amount. Each state governors determines their own allocation within their state annual budgets. Across the country, the total amount spent on these controversial funds is massive, and state governors collectively budgeting over 210 billion for security votes. Projections indicate that just 10 of the highest allocating states are on track to receive up to 140 billion for their security votes. How many states? Just 10 states. 10 states can receive up to 140 billion for their security votes. Now, key issues surrounding security votes: lack of accountability. So this security vote, like I said earlier, it is unaudited. It is unaudited. They don't ask. They are not being questioned. Okay, Mr. Governor, you received about 1.5 billion last month as security vote. You receive about 7 million naira as security vote. Sir, can you tell us, can you tell your state, your residents of your state, that what have you done with it? They don't, even if you ask them, they won't respond, because it is unaudited. They will receive it whether they spent it on security or not. It is not your business. That is what it means. If a governor receives 1.5 billion in the month of July or in the month of June as security votes, if he spent it on security or not, it is not your business. That is what it means. It is unaudited. It cannot be accountable for. They don't account for it. So there have been lack of accountability surrounding this security vote. So why wouldn't a governor, somebody who is contesting for the office of a governor, why wouldn't he do everything possible to make sure that he's elected as governor of that state? Why is it that governorship candidates would do everything possible to make sure they are elected, would do everything possible to make sure that they buy votes, would do everything possible to make sure that they intimidate people to be elected as governors, put fear in the mind of innocent electorate, just as we witnessed on Saturday? Why wouldn't they do that? Because they know that when they are coming in as governors, man, they don't blow with that. They don't blow. So imagine a governor, let's just say for instance, because the exact figure of this security vote is not stipulated But let's just say somebody is quietly receiving an estimate of 17 million every month. Every month you are receiving 17 million. Every month. Whether you spent it on security or not, you are not questioned. So, before I conclude, let me finish what I have here. Security votes are disbursed at complete discretion of the governors. You see, complete discretion. I said it as if I knew. Complete discretion. That is, the governor. They either they want to disburse it or not. It is their wish to disburse the money or not. If they don't, they are considered as off budget or confidential, meaning they are not subject to legislative oversight or audited by state assemblies. This is massive corruption. This is massive corruption. Taxpayers' money was given to you, and what it means is that this is an off-budget money, confidential, meaning they are not subject to legislative oversight. No lawmaker in your state can question you that, Mr. Governor, this said amount you received as security vote, what have you done with it? You cannot be questioned. That is what it means. So if I'm a governor, I receive 20 million in the month of May, I receive another 20 million in June, another 20 million in July, 20 million this month, and I can decide not to use that money for anything. The money will be converted. Of course, it will be theirs. It will be theirs. Because it is unaudited. It is off the budgets. The money is not subject to legislative oversight or audited by any state assemblies. This is to tell you what they are going into. All right. According to reports, Transparency International, when combining the presidency, state governors and local government, Nigeria spends roughly 670 million, nearly 1 trillion annually on security votes that often dwarfs the official budget of the Nigerian army. Public scrutiny. Civil society groups like SERAP, that's the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, if I get that name correctly. Civil society groups like SERAP continually challenge these allocations, demanding strict records of the spending. SERAP, you guys are just wasting your time. You have read it before. This security vote, they are unaudited. Nobody can be questioned. Nobody can question the governors what they've done with the money. The governors, it is their discretion whether to utilize the security vote on security or not. Like I said earlier, if a governor receives 17 million, the governor can decide not to use that money for anything as long for security. So, demanding strict records of the spending, as the multi-billion naira budgets have historically failed to tangibly minimize regional banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism. So one of the causes of the continued insecurity in the country is that state governors have failed. I stand boldly to say that state governors have failed to utilize this security vote that they receive on a monthly basis on security. So why won't there be increase in kidnapping? Why wouldn't there be increase in abduction? Why wouldn't there be insecurity in the country? Why wouldn't there be spate of insecurity in the country? It's because monies, funds given to these state governors to provide, to revamp the security architecture in their states, they don't use it as at when due. They don't use it judiciously. And in as much as they don't use it judiciously, you can never question them, why didn't they use it? That is what it means. Nigerians, open your eyes. That is what it means. If a governor receives security vote, the governor can wish to use it or not. And if he doesn't use it, you can't question the governor. You have no legal standard to say, Mr. Governor, why didn't you use the money that you received for security votes? That is where the corruption of this country, these are one of the things that gives birth to corruption. The state governors, the state governments. And innocent residents, innocent indigents in states that have been ravaged by insecurity will be abducted. They will spend weeks, spend months in kidnappers' den. And the governors will not do anything about it. Just like yesterday when I read on the story, I think it was in the on Guardian, where UNICEF is begging the federal government to see to the rescue of 78 kidnapped school children in Borno State. 78. And these people have been abducted for God knows when. Because if UNICEF, if an international organization under the purview of the United Nations could approach the federal government and the state government pleading that the 78 abducted school children in a particular local government in Borno State for their rescue, that shows you that these people have been there for a very long time. I can't even remember when they were abducted. So it is right to say that states that are prone to insecurity, it is the failure of the governors in that state. If at every time there will be abduction in your state, it is a failure of the governors. Because what the president said yesterday when he met with Adeleke is that most of the responsibilities in the country rest in the states. Most of the responsibilities in the country rest with the state governors. Even if there is no problem of security in your state, if there is no problem, can't you use that money for something else? Can't you use the money to set up industries, to set up manufacturing companies? Can't you use the money for something tangible to impact the lives of Nigeria, to impact the life of the people in your state? Particularly in Lagos State, in Lagos State, oh my God, I forgot to send that video. In Lagos State, Lagos is now gradually becoming, the roads in Lagos State is gradually becoming a menace, whereby you see heaps of dirt lies. You see heaps of dirt along the road. Where is it done? Which of the states in this country that you will see dirt along the expressway for weeks, for months, and it will be ignored, and we have a commissioner for environment in the states arresting people that whereby the most important thing you're supposed to do to make sure that the state is kept clean. Even if there is no security challenge in your state, why can't you use that money for something beneficial, for something that will impact the life of the people? I'm going down to details now. Yeah, so state governor. So let me give you some of the states that receives the figure. All right. Yeah, I have it here. In Borno State, now these are the breakdown of security vote by selected state. Okay, Borno State, which in which the state is heavily hit, because Borno State is a boiling point for insecurity in the country. Is a hot spot. Borno State receives an estimated security vote of 806 million naira on a monthly basis. On a monthly basis, Borno State receives 806 million. Every year, cumulatively, an estimated 9.6 billion to 32.8 billion. This is how much Borno State receives as security votes annually. 9 billion to 32 billion on an annual base for annually estimated allocation on security vote, 9 to 32 billion. This is Borno State. For Delta State, there is no stipulated figure for monthly allocation, but at the end of the year, Delta State receives approximately 10 to 18 billion annually. Ondo State receives about 600 to 1.2 billion monthly. At the end of the year, they receives about 7 to 11 billion. River State receives 1.5 billion security votes every month, and at the end of the year, about 18 billion. Okay. Akwa Ibom receives 1.8 billion, an estimated 21.6 billion annually. Benue State, another hotbed for insecurity, community clashes, herders farmers clash. Benue State receives 3 billion naira monthly on security votes, which include personnel and overhead. Annually, they receive 15 to 37 billion. Enugu State receives 600 billion. An estimated annual allocation 7.2 billion. Kaduna State receives 400 million. An estimated annual allocation 4.8 billion. Taraba State 200 million. An estimated annual 2.4 billion. Katsina State receives 17.5 million. An estimated 211 million. So, Nigerians, if you reside in Lagos, if you reside in this state that I've mentioned, you need to start asking your governors questions. That, Mr. Governor, what have you been doing with the security vote? They won't even answer you because they are not obligated to respond. They are not obligated to respond to questions concerning security votes. So they are covered. They are covered. It is 30 minutes gone past the hour of 9 o'clock. This is Overt Radio. This is a political update on Overt Radio. I've been talking about the remarks made by Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, who says that he receives a monthly salary of 503,000 naira. But assuming you've been here, you've been with me from the beginning of the show, I've been able to break down, to counter what he said. I have countered the claim made by Sheriff Oborevwori that Oga, that is the money you claim that you receive on the monthly basis is far more than what you say. So we must create a system in the country that encourages accountability. We must create a system in the country that encourages accountability, cutting government costs. We must begin to inform the citizens what is going on in governance. Because if the citizens don't know what is going on in government, they will keep on doing the same thing every time, every day when it comes to election. So the saying that governors earn 503,000 naira on a monthly basis is a big fat lie. Is a big fat lie. Arithmetically speaking, is a big fat lie. All right, Lagos. I think I've exhausted what I have to do here. All right. So this security votes, the governors cannot be questioned. Even if they are questioned, whether they respond or not, it is not their business. It is not your business. I'm just reading out to you, reading them out to you, so that you can, so that you will know that if there is a loophole in security in your state, hold your governor accountable, because he receives money every month for it. He receives for security upkeep. And this security upkeep, the security votes, they are unaudited. Nobody can question them what they use it for. It is never accounted for. Yes, it is on record, it is on paper that they receive it, but you can never question them. Oga, what did you do with the 200 million that was given to you, with the 600 million that was given to you as security vote? You can't question them. So that is why you see that during every time there is a governorship election in this country, the governors will do everything possible to make sure that they are elected, because there is enough of money in the cookie jar. The cookie jar there is enough of money in the cookie jar. There is enough. There is enough. So they can buy votes to be elected as governors. They can intimidate, put fear in the mind of the electorate, so that they can vote for them, threaten them, kill them, kill their opponents, kill the supporters of the opposition parties, kill their leaders, kill them. All right, 35-minute gone past the hour of 8 o'clock. 10 o'clock, Bukola Olubolafe will be here for the news update at 10. My job is done here this morning, this week. This is the last edition of this week of the Friday of the Overt Radio Breakfast Show. Feel free to go to our various social media platforms to engage with our content, share them, like them, comment on them. All right, so that you will help us to make money on social media. We are open to adverts. You can get across to us by sending us mail, overtradio@gmail.com, overt OVERT radio radio@gmail.com for advert and sponsorship details. All right, so keep enjoying the rest of the program. 11:30, I will be back again here with my co-anchor Bukola Olubolafe for the Friday edition of Overt Radio for Trend Table, 11:30 to 1:30. All right, so don't go anywhere. Thank you for spending your breakfast with me here on Overt Radio, and I want to say a very big thank you to our sponsor for the Overt Radio Breakfast Show, Live Back Pharmacy and Stores Limited, marketers of Ogama QS Soft Gel and Swedish Bitters. All right, Lagos, I will see you again on Monday, same time, same station here on Overt Radio. Don't go anywhere. 10 o'clock, the news update.